There is something that most people do not mention about spiritual awakening, and it is not the peace, joy, or love that everyone discusses. No, the true transformation occurs when you begin to abandon certain things, not out of compulsion or discipline, but because your soul simply cannot engage with them any longer. It feels like waking up one day and realizing that the life you were leading was never truly yours. If you have started to feel a profound discomfort with your former life, if you are noticing that relationships, habits, and routines are falling away, I invite you to stay with me. By the conclusion of this video, I will reveal one final thing that nearly everyone gives up during their awakening, yet few talk about. It is the last element to vanish, and it shifts everything. Let's take a moment to rewind. Picture someone who constantly sought validation. We will refer to her as Sarah. She was intelligent, kind, and always made an effort to ensure that everyone around her liked her. Her job was a corporate position she did not love, but it provided a good salary. Her weekends were filled with parties and dinners, many of which she did not truly enjoy. She laughed when she was weary and agreed when she meant to say no. Then, one day, she could not continue this way, not because of a tragic event, but because something genuine awoke within her. Something inside her whispered, "This is not it." That marked the onset of her spiritual awakening. One by one, the layers began to peel away, and the first thing she relinquished was her need for approval. When you genuinely awaken, you stop striving to please everyone. It is as if your soul no longer wishes to don a mask. You become aware of how much energy you previously invested in making others comfortable at the expense of your own peace. Perhaps you used to hold your tongue during discussions merely to sidestep conflict. Or maybe you smiled through discomfort to keep things running smoothly. However, after awakening, a shift occurs. You begin to express yourself, honoring your true feelings. Although this can be intimidating, especially if others do not appreciate the new you deep down, it is liberating. In one of my retreats, I remember a man who had worked as a manager for years. He constantly avoided conflict and sought to keep his team happy. But after his awakening, he left that job, not out of anger, but because he could no longer pretend. He became a yoga teacher and accepted a significant pay cut. Yet he stated, "For the first time I breathe freely. That is what quitting the search for approval feels like. It is akin to exhaling after a long-held breath." Another thing that gradually diminishes is your attachment to material possessions. Now, do not misunderstand me, there is nothing wrong with money or owning nice things. However, the hold they have on you starts to erode. Prior to awakening, many of us pursue material goods, a bigger car, a better phone, more clothing, as if trying to fill an internal void. Yet as you awaken, you begin to see the emptiness behind these pursuits. You start asking yourself, why do I even want this? If the answer is to impress others or simply because everyone else has it, your interest begins to fade. I once met a woman who sold her designer handbags and used the proceeds to support a local food program. She conveyed, "I used to think my bags defined me. Now, I do not even miss them. I feel richer inside." That is the beauty of awakening. You can still appreciate the world, but you are no longer imprisoned by it. You also abandon the notion of fitting in. This can be challenging because for so long we are taught to blend in, not to stand out too much, and not to be weird. However, when your soul begins to awaken, you find yourself craving truth more than acceptance. You may notice that you drift away from old friends or stop enjoying the same movies, songs, or even conversations. This shift is not about superiority. It is about an elevation in your energy and frequency, which sometimes means you will walk a solitary path for a time. One man told me that he ceased spending time with his old friends after awakening. He did not do so because they were bad people, but because their conversations revolved around money, gossip, and drinking. He said, "I still love them, but I do not belong there anymore." This experience exemplifies the journey of no longer forcing yourself to fit into spaces that your soul has outgrown. Additionally, there is the abandonment of constant doing. This may sound unusual, But many individuals stop obsessing over productivity after awakening. In fact, they start to embrace stillness, which represents a significant shift in a world that often treats busyness as a badge of honor. Once you awaken, you come to realize something transformative. Being still is not synonymous with being lazy. It is about awareness. You begin to understand that silence holds answers and that rest is sacred. One woman shared with me that before her awakening, she scheduled every hour of her day. If she was not actively doing something, she felt useless. Now she takes walks without her phone, sits in silence, and listens to the birds. She conveys that these moments are the most healing of all. This encapsulates what awakening does. It teaches you the value of being, not merely doing. You also cease blaming others for your pain. This realization can be difficult to accept, as it is easier to point fingers and say, "They hurt me," or "They betrayed me," or "Life is unfair." Awakening encourages raw honesty. You begin to see your own patterns, projections, and role in your pain. Instead of remaining a victim of life, you become a student of it. From every experience, including the painful ones. I recall someone who experienced a tumultuous breakup. Before her awakening, she would have entirely blamed her partner. However, this time she paused to reflect and acknowledged, "I ignored the red flags. I stayed when my heart told me to leave." This introspection does not imply that it was her fault, but it signifies maturity. Awakening transforms pain into wisdom, and this wisdom emerges when you stop casting blame and start looking inward. Now I wish to return to the beginning. Remember how I mentioned one final element that you relinquish, which seldom gets discussed. It is the idea of who you believed yourself to be. The identity, the role, the narrative. You begin to comprehend that you are more than your name, your job, your beliefs, or your body. You are not the labels society affixed to you. You are not your past mistakes. You are not even your personality. You are consciousness itself, a presence that has been observing all along. When you shed the false self and release the character you were playing, something extraordinary transpires. You become light. You experience a freedom that is beyond description. You cease to need to be someone and simply are. I have witnessed this transformation frequently, and it is never abrupt. It is subtle and gentle, like a soft breeze flowing through someone's life. Those around you may not even grasp what is taking place. They might claim you are changing, that you are distant, that you are not the same. They are correct. You have woken up. You have begun to remember who you truly are, and this remembrance will continue to strip away anything that is not real. It is not always easy, but it is invariably worth it. If you find yourself in a situation where things are unraveling, where you are losing interest in everything you once adored, and where you are starting to feel isolated, please take note of this. You are not broken. You are awakening. The old is being stripped away so that the authentic you can finally shine through. It is messy, it is beautiful, and it is sacred. So, if you have quit seeking approval, quit chasing material possessions, quit trying to fit in, quit constant doing, and quit blaming others, know that you are not regressing. You are moving deeper into truth, deeper into yourself. The fact that you are engaging with this content at this moment indicates that some part of you is already aware of this. Some part of you is remembering, and that part is guiding you home. Before we conclude, I would like to ask you something. What is one thing you have naturally stopped doing following your awakening? It could be something small or significant. Please share it in the comments. You never know who may read your words and feel less alone. Although this journey can feel isolating, you are never truly alone. You are simply shedding the noise so that you can once again hear your soul. And perhaps that is the most powerful thing you will ever accomplish.